This is a new item, a news item, which I found, and I'm gonna go through the translation process, see how it's done, how it can be done. Let's read this one. Crowds camp out for an NHS dentist. Hundreds of people queued overnight outside the dental practice after it was opened to NHS patients for the first time. Faversham Smiles Clinic also received 27,000 calls and more than 700 emails from people who were desperate to receive subsidized services. The huge demand came after the Kent police said it would provide 60 NHS slots to the first 20 people in the queue, the first 20 to email and the first 20 to call. It's seen by some as a symptom of an inadequate system, with thousands of patients losing access to treatment because of a shortage of NHS dentists. The Health and Social Care Committee has called for an urgent fundamental reform of NHS dentistry, calling it totally unacceptable in the 21st century. Now, what I will look at in this particular article is that I will look at the same as I did before in the previous recording for what's called process of translation. Process of translation or translation process, okay, in which that you will see how I will handle such a kind of text. Let's have a look at the text and see if we can get somewhere with the analysis. Now, the first thing is going to be paralinguistics, paratextuality, then Beaugrande and Dressler's text linguistics, which is coherence only, then syntax, and then I will look at Lexis and cultural items, people's names, organization name, and geographical backgrounds or locations. Now, the first one is paratextuality. As I said before, paratextuality is you've got two types of texts, either or under it. Peritext, which is images and textual elements, which is secondary to the main text, such as introduction, notes, cover, front cover of books, etc. Or, as in this case, in this kind of item, we have found caption of a photo, keep smiling, and people queue outside the clinic. And that's what's happening if we look at the actual piece to see the actual caption and the picture, which is this one here. I'll try to sort of get it closer to this. As you can see, keep smiling, people queue outside the clinic, and this is the picture. This is very helpful for this kind of item of when we are translating this item, because this item that we are translating has got provided some paratextuality with it, which is the caption, the title, and the title is part of the text really, but the actual photo and the actual caption that comes with the photo with the caption saying keep smiling, people queue outside the clinic. Now, this is the peritext, what I call peritext, and then you have what's called apart from the peritext, which is used, there is epitext, but of course the photo, as I just said earlier, and then the epitext, which is interviews, reviews, and the marginal notes, which is not there and non-existent in this particular case. Now we'll move on to the next part, which is Beaugrande and Dressler, text linguistic coherence, to see, and then we will have syntax and Lexis and cultural items, people's names, and so on. With Beaugrande's and Dressler's, we have two types of concepts, which I mentioned to you before, and of course it's concept and not concepts. So object concept and action concept. And that is what Beaugrande has actually used under coherence, which are useful in the translation, though it's not mentioned in his book, 1981, that these kinds of concepts are useful for translation. But I'm just saying they are. Now, object concepts are nouns, whether they are participants or inanimate nouns or pronouns. And let's have a look at them. We can see that there is, first we have crowds, hundreds of people, NHS patients, people, the first 20 people in the queue, first 20, thousands of patients. Now all of these, I put them together because they are referring to the same people in a way. And then I put the other one, which is the other participants, who are NHS dentists, a dental practice, okay, Faversham Smiles Clinic, the Kent Police, and a shortage of NHS dentists. And then there's 27,000 calls, more than 700 emails, subsidized services, a huge demand, 60 NHS slots, a symptom of inadequate system, treatment, the Health and Care, Social Care Committee, and finally an urgent and fundamental form of NHS dentistry. Now, if we are going to, I will attempt to translate some of these later, but I'm just showing you that these are all related to object concepts. These are object concepts. And then we have the other type, which is with regards to the verbs, which is action concepts. And these verbs, we have camp out, queued, received, were desperate, the word were, came, said, provide, called. Also with an ing form, which is like present participle, losing, holding, and calling. I don't think there is holding, but just only losing. I think it was losing and also calling, that's all, but not holding. I don't think there is a holding in that, but we will check it when we come to it. Okay, so that's what we have here, and then we have past participle, opened and subsidized and seen, sometimes used in the form of an adjective, as in the case of subsidized, which means that they will pay with subsidized means paid by the government or partly paid by the NHS, which is the health, وزارة الصحة. Okay, وزارة الصحة العامة. And then verb to verb, to and the verb, which is the infinitive, as in to receive, to email, and to call. So these are the three different types of verbs that are occurring in this particular story that I've just read. Main verbs of the sentence, verb with an ing, and past participle, and verb to be, or verb to verb, which is the infinitive. Now here, of course, these are all action concepts. And if we look at these action concepts here, I put them all together, and I'm going to actually then connect them to the object concepts. Camp out, queued, who's queuing, who's camping out, who's desperate, who's receiving, who's emailing, who's calling, who's losing, was opened, what's opened, received, said, came, was seen, and calling. So let's have a look, and we see how we match them. Now, matching them is the issue. Matching is each verb to each noun. Of course, you can see camp out, crowds, queued, hundreds, were desperate, the NHS patients, and people to receive, to email, they are emailing or receiving and calling, losing access, and then there's a treatment, losing access to treatment, and then was opened, which is the practice. Practice means the clinic. So the word clinic and the word practice are the same. It's called co-reference. According to Beaugrande, these are co-reference, referring to the same thing in different ways. A dental practice, it is the same as Faversham Smiles Clinic. But Faversham Smiles Clinic is more specific, hyponym. Clinic. And the clinic itself is called by that name, Faversham Smiles. When we translate it, we keep it as it is. We can say Ibtisamat Faversham if you want, but it's really a name of the clinic. العيادة. عيادة طب الأسنان. So here, عيادة طب الأسنان هي عيادة من العيادات. A dental practice. So when we translate that one, we say عيادة من عيادات طب الأسنان. Here we say عيادة Faversham Smiles. أو عيادة بعنوان أو اسمها Faversham Smiles. وأيضا of course we have the NHS dentists. Then we have the Kent practice. And the Kent practice is the same as a dental practice. It's the same as the clinic. And Kent is المقاطعة. مقاطعة كنت في بريطانيا. In other words, this practice is in Kent and it's called Faversham Smiles and it's a dental practice, okay? And it's offering some NHS slots, 60 NHS slots. And these slots that they are offering, 20 for them for the people who are queuing, and 20 for the people who are calling, and 20 for the people who are emailing. Okay, so emailing is 20%, first 20, and the other one is first 20, and so on. So that's how it is. I just wanted to capitalize the word first, because it's not capitalized in this particular one, so that it matches. You have to make sure that all your words are capitalized here. All of them are capitalized. This is consistency. So 20 of them will be queuing, and 20 of them who will be emailing, and 20 of them who are calling. For out of the 27,000 calls, and out of the 700 emails, they will get only 20. So 20 from this one, and 20 from this one, and 20 of the people who are in the image waiting. As you can see here in the picture, the people who are waiting, and they need to take 20 of them. Now, the other point that is that is related to the translation related is the bottom one here, which we haven't looked at, but I'm just going to show you that in close up, so you can actually know what is to expect in translation. Here we have subsidized services. Of course, subsidized services means خدمات, okay? مخفضة, subsidized. Subsidized by who? By the government. يعني خدمات مرخصة أو مخفضة تدفع جزء منها الحكومة. So that's called subsidized. Huge demand, طلب متزايد أو كبير. There's also the slots, 60 slots, يعني أماكن, يعني شواغر للمرضى التابعين طبعا الصحة العامة، وزارة الصحة العامة. إذن 60 شاغر لمرضى يعني تحت نظام الصحة العامة. What happened to them is that they will be receiving subsidized services, i.e. they will not pay the whole amount, they will pay only part of the amount. Okay? And of course, why is that all this happening? Because there's a shortage of NHS dentists. يعني في كتير عيادات, there are many practices which do not provide NHS service. يعني ما بيعطوا خدمات مخفضة للمرضى الذين هم مسجلين في وزارة الصحة العامة. ف NHS dentists, many of them do not. Okay? And then we have the word it was seen, or it is seen, and some, a symptom of inadequate system. Here عرض من أعراض نظام غير كفؤ أو غير كافي، لا يسد الحاجة. Okay, inadequate. Treatment معالجة. هنا the Health and Social Care Committee. Here, how do we translate it? We got the word health, which is noun, care is noun, committee is noun. Health and Social Care Committee يعني لجنة الصحة والرعاية الاجتماعية. لجنة الصحة والرعاية الاجتماعية. لاحظتوا كيف؟ أبدأ I will start with this noun to start with in Arabic. Then I go to health first and then social care. And finally, in the last one, which is like a phrase, okay, and this is quite a little bit tricky, this phrase really, to translate, which is the phrase which shows that, okay, here, I'm just trying to get the reflection, not an urgent and fundamental reform of NHS dentistry. Here, how do we translate this long phrase? An urgent and fundamental reform of NHS dentistry. We focus on the word of. Anything that comes before the word of as a noun will be considered the main noun, and then the rest is coming afterwards in the translation. So reform, ثمة إصلاح عاجل وأساسي. ثمة إصلاح أو إصلاح عاجل وأساسي لطب الأسنان التابع للصحة العامة، وزارة الصحة العامة أو وزارة الصحة. So this is what is يعني طبعا NHS معناها National Health Service. National Health خدمة الصحة القومية. طبعا we don't translate it خدمة الصحة القومية. We don't do that. We translate it وزارة الصحة. خلاص. It's clear that وزارة الصحة is national because it's وزارة. So you would say طب الأسنان التابع لوزارة الصحة. This is how we translate it. So now, of course, I'm helping you in this, in trying to find out how you link the verbs to their nouns, and also look at these nouns and see how you can fix. And then after that, we see that we looked at Beaugrande, we looked at paratextuality and Beaugrande. Now we have syntax. And in syntax, for example, tenses and aspects, there are others like conjunctions, but I will not look into that because there aren't many conjunctions in the text itself. But here look at the verbs, the main verb. Camp out is in the present, cued in the past, received in the past, were desperate in the past, came in the past, said in the past, would provide in the future, but past future. And then has called also present perfect. These are important. Why is it in the present? And why is these in the past? Are these in the past? If you look at the caption, and I'm just going to go back to the caption because that's where it is. You see, the title here, Camp Out, cannot be put in the past. It has to be put in the present. يعني خيمت الحشود أمام عيادة طب الأسنان تابعة لوزارة الصحة. اوكي طبعا هو ما حط عيادة، حط دنتست، NHS dentist. NHS dentist يعني طبيب أسنان تابع للصحة وزارة الصحة. And not all of them are. يعني مو كلهم تابعين لل NHS أو رايدين يكونوا مرتبطين بال NHS بشكل قوي من ناحية الدفع، من ناحية يعني السكان أو يعني المرضى. فإذا camp out is in the present. Why? Because it's a title. You cannot put it in the past. It will sound strange. Okay? But maybe there is not enough space. That's why I put it in the present. Or as a title, it can be in the present or the past. but the rest is in the past. Queued. Okay, hundreds of people queued overnight. يعني وقف مئات الناس في طابور. هذا أيوة من مساء الأمس. overnight يعني overnight يعني مساء اليوم مساء البارحة. خارج عيادة أسنان بعدما افتتحت المجالة أو فتحت المجالة. I hope that you can see, but I will make it a bit closer so you can see. Okay. فتحت المجالة لتسجيل مرضى. اوكي. مرضى يعني تابعين لوزارة الصحة، بمعنى آخر مرضى يعني أنا عامة الناس يعني NHS patients يعني مرضى تابعين لوزارة الصحة العامة، وذلك لأول مرة يعني تفتتح هذا الشيء. Faversham Smiles Clinic also received، وكما تلقت عيادة Faversham Smiles وهذا اسمها 27,000 مكالمة وأكثر من 700 بريد إلكتروني من أشخاص كانوا يائسين من أجل الحصول على خدمات مخفضة. ارتفاع الطلب جاء بعدما صرحت عيادة كنت، عيادة الموجودة في مقاطعة كنت، بأنها ستقدم أماكن ل60 مريضا تابعين لوزارة الصحة العامة، يعني لا يتم معالجتهم بشكل يعني خاص، إنما من القطاع العام يعني. وأيضا إلى يفتحون هذه 60 إلى أول 20 شخص في الطابور كما هو واقف في الطابور، و20 آخرين أول 20 آخرين بالإيميل بالبريد الإلكتروني، وأول 20 اتصلوا بالعيادة. It is seen by some، يرى البعض ما بنعمل passive voice، هو مع أنه passive voice it is seen، ما بنعمل passive voice. It is seen by some يعني يرى البعض أن هذا عرض من أعراض نظام inadequate غير كافي، مع وجود آلاف المرضى الذين losing access، الذين لا يمكنهم الاستفادة من المعالجة بسبب نقص في عدد أطباء الأسنان الذين يقبلون عامة الناس، يعني ما بيدفعوا الفاتورة، جزء منها بتدفعه الحكومة. The Health and Social Care Committee has called for an urgent and fundamental reform of NHS dentistry. دعت لجنة الصحة والعناية الاجتماعية لإصلاح عاجل وأساسي لطب الأسنان التابع لوزارة الصحة، وأطلقت عليه أو سمته بأنه من غير المقبول على الإطلاق أن يحدث هذا في القرن 21. وهذا كوتيشن، يعني في كوتيشن totally، that is يعني we have to be very careful with، ولازم نحط كوتيشن ونترجم. إذن as I said here, as you can see from my analysis of these verbs and understanding the text, I hope that you have understood the text in the way I have, and I have looked at the syntax, but then you can see that the cultural items, and here is another problem, which I've already covered in my quick translation of this, so that it will not be, considered as being really something that is. Let me just try to show you these cultural items. So we have NHS, which is وزارة الصحة, Faversham Smiles Clinic, عيادة فافشم سمايلز، كنت براكتس، عيادة في مقاطعة كنت، 60 شاغر أو 60 مكان لمرضى تابعين لوزارة الصحة العامة، NHS dentists، أطباء الأسنان تابعين للصحة العامة أو الذين يقبلون مرضى مسجلين بالصحة العامة أو وزارة الصحة، طب الأسنان في وزارة الصحة، ولجنة الصحة والرعاية الاجتماعية. And I think with these I have covered all of these together, and I hope that you have learned something from today's. Have a nice day.